Hey there, folks. Thanks for joining me today on DocTalk. Our guest today, Dr. Travis Thayer. He's a veterinarian and an employee trainer at many dairies and beef operations around the U.S. He works for Diamond V, and we're glad to have him on the show. It's going to be a good one. You're going to learn a lot about how to handle your new employees and how to handle ones that have been around.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk, and Dr. Thayer, welcome.
Thank you.
Folks, this is Dr. Travis Thayer. He's a veterinarian and he is the employee technical trainer for Diamond V. And he's a friend, colleague, someone who has been in veterinary practice, has been around a lot of different dairy cattle, a lot of beef cattle, and beyond. But to have him here today, we're going to talk about something that's pretty near and dear to all of our hearts, and that's employee training, which you're doing on a pretty consistent basis. But Dr. Thayer, talk to me about how this all kind of got started, because it's a neat story.
Sure. When I was a kid, I lived on a thoroughbred farm in Southern California, and my dad was a veterinarian and did a lot of different things, but his passion was racehorses, and so I would hang out with the workers and picked up Spanish, and then developed it as a kid, just pure socially. And when I got to college, I started to go on to dairies as part of a work for a mastitis laboratory. And I would tell all the people to not speak English to me and only speak Spanish. And so when I started dairy practice in California, I used the Spanish a lot, training employees. And then in later roles with agri-labs, supporting cattle vaccines, I would be on a farm, and people would complain about an employee, and I would usually have something in my computer or in my brain to talk to that employee about, and so I would go over and take care of that. And then Diamond V wanted a person to do this full time, and sort of their angle on it to begin with was that the yeast metabolite product that Diamond V sells and feeds is a low inclusion product. And so in order for a producer to truly see the efficacy, we want to make sure it got fed right. And so I would go on the farm, and train the employees. And it's 99% Spanish. I can do English if I have to switch over, but I usually have to redo a PowerPoint. And that is also morphed. Basically anything protocol driven on the farm, I'll do. So milking and maternity training, calf care, doctor and calves, and then more recently I'm starting to look into some middle management training.
Oh, sure. Well, it just amazes me. I love the story, first of all, how you learn Spanish, and it probably helps you with the dialects and different things to that nature as well, and some of the different terminology that morphs as you start to get Spanglish, right?
Yeah, lots of Spanglish.
And so understanding that, but also that there's a necessity that not only probably has to do with getting something right for the product, but also getting right for the animals.
Absolutely.
So we're going to take a break here, but how often are you working with people training?
Probably 3 out of 4 weeks every month.
Really?
Out and about on farms and working directly with employees.
Great. Well, let's take a break, folks, from DocTalk. We have Dr. Travis Thayer here. He lives in California. He's a veterinarian. We're going to talk about training your employees, some of his personal experience, and some of the things he sees coming down the road for you, your ranch, your farm. Thanks for watching DocTalk.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
No matter where, no matter why, The Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
Healthy cows start with the new hired hand automatic livestock sprayer. Rancher invented to provide an efficient alternative to pour-on and injectable parasite management systems. The portable design allows cattle to treat themselves head to hoof. Strategic device placement with pass-through activation technology takes the stress out of parasite treatment for cattle and the rancher, leaving more time to tend to other vital tasks on the farm. To learn more, visit cowsprayer.com. The new hired hand makes healthy cows easy.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Travis Thayer, who's a veterinarian from California. What part of California do you live in?
Actually, I live in Oakland, California, by way of marriage.
Okay, cool. So he's out of California, out of the Oakland area, and works for Diamond V. And we're talking about employee training. And we were talking during the break. There's three types of new employees. Ones that have no experience, ones that have a lot of good experience, and then there's some that have a lot of bad experience, which can be difficult. But talk to me a little bit about training employees and how, do we jump in and hand them a manual? Or,
Yeah.
That would not work for me.
Unfortunately, that's in reality really how it happens. Hey, go find that guy with the red hat. He's going to show you around and show you what to do. And we're getting better and better as an industry to invest in that time up front in employees. But onboarding is a really tough thing to do properly.
So then once tell me what your sessions are like then, because, okay, so they bring you what would be different between someone who is a novice or new employees or versus experienced employees?
So sometimes I get called in to help address a problem. So let's say, they've got all kinds of nutritional problems and, maybe some feed audits performed by some of my colleagues at Diamond V have identified some problem areas. So I'll go in, and usually there's a formal component, like a PowerPoint presentation, sort of a lecture and discussion, and then usually I will go out on the farm and work with the employees, right around in the feed truck, observe their feeding practices, give them feedback. Same thing with other areas. So I'll go in the milking parlor and I'll evaluate what employees are doing in some areas of opportunity, and then usually we'll come together as a group to discuss, what I've seen and what the dairy needs.
I think it's important too. I think a lot of times we jump out and something we have passion in, so we develop a training platform for it. But this dairy or feedlot may not need it. They may know it better than I do. And so one of the most important things for a trainer is to listen, right?
Yes. Yeah, I modify my training on the go almost every time. If you get in love with your PowerPoint slides or your way of looking at things, you're not doing the best for the producer or the employees.
Right, or the industry maybe. And
right.
So when we take let's say I'm a farmer, we got about a minute before break, but let's just say I'm a farmer with a new employee. Is the best thing to do is just say, hey, look, kind of like they do with a waitress, you're a waitress in training?
Yeah, they do exactly that, in fact, on many places. It depends on the need. If they're down a person, it's a trial by fire. Often they get put in. And it also depends on the complexity of the job. I'm not going to stick somebody in a $100,000 tractor, right off the bat. But usually there's a process of explaining the why and then getting them in with more experienced employees.
Yeah, because they'll go. I've had it with four-wheelers where they take off with the four-wheeler, but nobody told them how to stop it, and had some problems with that. Anyway, folks, Dr. Travis Thayer from Diamond V is here with us. We're going to talk more about training your employees after these messages.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for that grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we're glad to answer and work with you.
Fort Wallace was the fightingest fort in the West. Fossils, Indians, soldiers, scouts, wagons, trails, pioneers, stories. Discover the story of Fort Wallace and the people who served here, the people who fought here, the people who settled here. Wallace County, where the past is present.
Did you know long-range planning through the checkoff can help keep your business profitable? To successfully pass on cattle operations from one generation to the next, it's important to promote beef and keep farms and ranches profitable. Your beef checkoff helps do that.
We are Mike and
Martha
Armitage here at the A-Bar Ranch, Claremore, Oklahoma. We have a cow-calf production company, and we also have a marketing company. We have entertained groups brought to us by the Beef Checkoff, such as South Korean media that covered our operation and brought the good news back to South Korea.
That was a really neat experience, and that we got to have young people from another country that we got to experience a lot of different things in their culture, but got to share our culture too.
We live on the Squaw Creek Ranch here as a division of the A-Bar Ranch.
As a wife and a mother, and also with my background in more of a health field, I look at just the nutritional value, and it's great that the Beef Checkoff offers that kind of information to the consumers that are out there.
We both are proud to come from agricultural, more specifically ranching backgrounds.
My dad is a part of the Beef Checkoff board, and so the Beef Checkoff has been something that we promote and that we support what it has to offer.
Not everybody who's in agriculture is tech savvy on Facebook and through social media. Most people in the city happen to be, and they are very disconnected from our day-to-day routines, and that's one thing that makes me proud of the Beef Checkoff, them going to bat for us. From those who aren't necessarily anti-ag, but just simply don't know and they aren't getting the information.
As producers, we're strong supporters of that, and hope that many of you out there realize all of the different things that the Beef Checkoff brings to the table for us as producers.
I'm Rexanne Struve, veterinarian in Western Iowa. I have a veterinary clinic and started doing stem cell therapy on dogs in August of 2014. And after the first 2 dogs, after 3 weeks, I saw such dramatic results. I said, hey, I have arthritis, I have joints, really need this help. Where can I go to get this done? I had stem cell therapy done in November of 2014 on my finger joints, my hip, and the ball of my left foot, all of which I'd had real severe problems with. Saw a pretty dramatic improvement in a short amount of time. I would certainly recommend that somebody don't wait until I'm in the position that I was in with the damage already done to my joints. I encourage veterinarians to use it for their animals, and I encourage anybody who sees this video, if you have need, get in contact with these people, because this is a phenomenal place to have this done.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Travis Thayer. He's with Diamond V, and he is a technical employee trainer, technical trainer, and he's a veterinarian. Got a lot of experience in dairy practice and beef practice, and he's spending a lot of time training people on specific areas and specific problems. It's no different than what we do as veterinary consultants.
Exactly.
The difference is you're getting a specific, instead of going the same place every month, you're going someplace different and training people up and making sure we're doing things right. And so, you know, we were talking during the break, and one of the things, you know, whether you're a good teacher or a good trainer, you've got to care about the people that you're working with. And it's obvious about that you're passionate about this and care about them. So just talk a little bit to that.
Yeah. Well, I started out, you know, learning this Spanish completely socially. You know, I would go on to farms, and I just wanted to get to know the people. And, you know, especially if you're out at 3 a.m. and, you know, doing a calving and your helper doesn't speak English, it's a lot more fun to have a conversation and not speaking sign language, you know, yep. and so you can work together a lot more effectively. You know, it's hard seeing some of these folks that are really valuable assets for producers, you know, fight some of the immigration stuff that they have to fight, and that's certainly they fight a huge battle before they ever get to our farms. So I certainly have a lot of respect and empathy for what they have to deal with.
You bet. And I think that, you know, one of the things that kind of, you know, I assumed right off the bat when you're saying that most of your training you do is in Spanish, I assume, you know, California regional, you know, kind of the coastal type states, and it's everywhere.
Yep, it is everywhere. I probably spend more time outside of California actually than inside California, partly just because there's a lot of people in California who are able to do what I do. So the demand is other places. So I spent a lot of time in Colorado, Texas, New Mexico, Kansas, doing the training.
And I see, you know, a lot of people, you know, how hard is it to get through some of the language barriers? You know, obviously you've got English and Spanish speaking people. Are we closing the gap, or is it about the same? I mean, talk to me a little bit about that as far as if there is a gap, how do we work around that as a farmer or rancher?
Yeah. Well, I think more and more, and especially as farms get larger, it's easier and easier to find a bilingual person, and in particularly second generation, you know, immigrants. So sons or daughters of first generation immigrants can be very helpful. I think one of the things with the language barrier that I've learned is that I can't be embarrassed to say something stupid, because it happens all the time. But I think that little bit of humility and, you know, ability to do that actually helps me connect more with the workers. You know, I'm gonna sound stupid, but I want to learn from you, and I hope that opens the door for them to be more receptive to the information that I have to bring to the table.
Absolutely, and I think that we have to value, like you said, the service that both our Anglo and Hispanic workers bring is tremendous, but the providing the loyalty and the culture of loyalty is probably first and foremost for any of these employees.
Yeah, it is huge, and I see places where those things are broken, and maybe management or ownership doesn't always appreciate those workers. They usually have someone in the middle management knitting that all together, and that those workers are loyal to. And usually if that part of the chain breaks, then everything falls apart.
Yep.
So loyalty is important.
Yep. Love them or they will leave.
Yes.
All right, folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have a wrap-up with Dr. Travis Thayer.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandring with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Hey folks, Dr. Dan here. Thanks for joining us for our Cattle First Minute, as sponsored by Behringer Ingelheim Vet Medica. And you know, today's Cattle First is talking about how to run a squeeze chute. And a lot of times when we run a squeeze chute, it's raise the tailgate, drop the tailgate on the head of the one behind, let the calf run through and ricochet off the front of the chute. And there are just some things that we can do to decrease injuries in the chute of the cattle. Make sure that we use the sides effectively to catch. If you have a hydraulic chute, that we use the sides. Make sure that we have the hydraulics not set too high, okay? We want it to be at that 650 to 800 PSI on the hydraulics. But being careful that we don't miscatch a calf by its temples and not adjust it, or if you catch one by the hips and you're out there with the tagging gun in one hand and the syringe in the other doing the cha-cha trying to get it vaccinated, it's best to just turn that calf loose so neither you nor the calf get hurt.
We do business with Blueville because of the quality of their work. It is excellent quality, and because they make a commitment to their customers.
We enjoy the benefits of hiring a good company to help us maintain this home.
We will always do business with Blueville. We have for many, many years, and there's no reason for us to look for any other service.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook or Twitter.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. I'm here with Dr. Travis Thayer, who's with Diamond V, and he is an employee technical trainer. And first of all, kudos to Diamond V for recognizing that this is something that's important and of huge value to the people that y'all work with. And also kudos to them seeking you out as someone to go do it, because you're just a tremendous human being and someone that has a passion for veterinary medicine and agriculture and the people that work in it. But tell me, kind of what is it, we talked about teaching the why.
Yep, at the end of the day, really, my job is to teach the why. Mm-hmm. So there's a complex set of procedures that needs to get done, and there's very specific reasons for each step, because what I tell the guys is we don't just go out there and make more work for you just for fun. We don't ask you to do something unless there's a reason why. So, if you give me a sequence of 10 steps and I don't know why step number 6 is there and it's a pain, I'm going to skip it every time. But if you tell me, well, everything will fall apart if you didn't do step number 6 and these are the reasons why, that's really what I do, is teach those guys and gals, why is this important?
Yeah, and I can remember too when they say, the cows come to the feedlot, the cows leave the feedlot.
Yeah.
That's going into our school lunch. That's going into, that's going on our dinner table.
Yeah.
And kind of explain to the why. And I'd never heard it said that way until you mentioned it. I teach the why, but it's since home. Let's talk about too. The other thing is you can only be one place at a time.
Yeah.
And there aren't a whole lot of people with your skill sets that are out there. Maybe in California, but where we're running around, we're short on the Travis Thayers. And so, what do you tell somebody when you leave?
Well, certainly, I make sure they all have my contact info so that they have questions in between. And sometimes people do use that, especially depending on the level of communication between management and employees, to help settle some work disputes from time to time remotely, or just clarify things. But really, the best situation is there's some layer of management that is going to continue providing the information that I've brought to the farm.
So then they'll continue to train on it. So you probably have somebody in there. Obviously, you're talking about having that person that's bilingual, but it's probably important to have somebody on the farm.
Yes.
That is going to train the new employees, or at least take home these important messages that you're bringing to the farm, so that they don't just die when you walk out the door.
And some of that has come in the form of making training videos, for a specific farm.
Yeah, well, there's a difference between repetition and redundancy.
Yeah.
And repetition is definitely good.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, you're good, and we appreciate you being on the show, and we appreciate all you do.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. We appreciate you all watching DocTalk. Thanks for watching us today. Remember, always work with your local veterinarian. And if you want to find more about what we do at DocTalk, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. Thank you so much for watching us. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson. and we'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.